Are you ready to get healthy with Shana? Well, we're working on strength for our muscles and our bones. So let's do this. We're going to come up to standing for a warm-up, but of course, like always, you can stay in your chair. So let's stand up. Let's get warmed up, gang. Coming up to our nice tall posture. Let's do our postural checklist, starting with the feet. They're hip to shoulder width apart. Going up to the knees, make them nice and soft. Let's lengthen our spine. Find that string that comes out the top of your head and stick it to the ceiling. We'll use it a lot. Shrug your shoulders back and down. Open up your posture. Let's go ahead and add a little movement, looking over our shoulder to the right. And then coming back to center. And let's look to the left. And then come back to center, looking right and center and left and center. Changing our pace a little bit. Let's bring our right ear to right shoulder and now come back up. Let's bring left ear to left shoulder and then back to center. Let's do one more on each side and up. Here's our last one and right back to center. Shoulders, lift those shoulders up to the ears and lower them back down. Lifting and lowering. Nice and smooth here. Just wake them up. So we're just doing a nice gentle warm-up, going joint to joint, starting with the neck and working our way. We'll finish our warm-up in the hips and in the ankles. Let's do a couple more shoulder lifts. Here's our last one. And let's bring these arms back where they belong. Let's go ahead and lengthen these arms, lifting out to the front and now lowering back down. Lifting and lowering. Good. Just moving at the shoulder joint, arms stay lengthened. So whether you come up this high or you come up a little bit higher, it's all up to you. That's one of my favorite things about this Strength for Life program is you make it individualized to your needs. Only do what works for you and do it to the best of your ability. Let's do one more. And let's bring the arms back down. Go ahead and give your shoulders a little shake. Let's move right into the shoulder blades. So take those blades and imagine that you've got an egg this time. We're going to squish an egg. So you've got an egg in between your shoulder blades. I want you to squeeze those blades together and crack your egg and then release. Squeeze, crack the egg, and release. Nice and tight. And release. Good. Wake up those postural muscles. So notice what happens to our posture here as we squeeze the shoulders back and down. We look a little more confident, a little more proud as we open up those shoulders. We're still lengthening our spine right through the top of the head. Here's our last one. And then release. Actually, I want you to keep a gentle squeeze in between those shoulder blades. So let's put a tennis ball there. We'll get rid of that egg. Gently squeezing a tennis ball. So we're not squeezing tight. We're not rounding. We're finding middle. Good. Palms face forward. Let's bend the elbows, bringing the palms up. And now reach the arms back down. Bending and extending. Bend and extend. Now you've probably noticed by now that a lot of the things that we do in this warm-up are the same things that we'll do later, but we'll add some resistance. So remember, if you don't have anything that you can use as resistance at home, stay right along with us. You keep following along. And if you want to know some more information about how to get some resistance to use or how to find a class in your area, stay tuned throughout the whole program and I'll tell you how to reach me and I'll give you that information. Let's do one more, actually bringing the arms up. Let's turn our palms around. Now a little reach. Now I like to start out small to make sure that this is appropriate, to make sure all of these moves are appropriate for you as an individual. So we start small, make sure this is okay on your shoulders. And if you want to, you can make this movement larger. Maybe you've got a shoulder impingement or a shoulder injury, and only one arm will come up higher. So you can make that work too. One arm stays low, one arm goes high. Here's your last one. Let's bring the arms back down, shake them out again. Let's move into the belly. I want you to take that deep abdominal muscle and pull it to your spine, and then release. And pull tight. And release. And remember, I'm just using my hands so you can see the movement at home. But my belly's doing all the work. Deep abdominal muscle is doing all of the work. This is a secret muscle that not everybody knows about. But if you can strengthen it, then you're ahead of the game. You're protecting your back by strengthening this muscle. This is part of your core. Let's do 2 more, squeezing tight and release. And there's your last one, and release again. Hanging your arms at your sides loosely. Let's get into the sitting muscles. I want you to squeeze them tight, and then release, and squeeze, and release. So you can really focus on your posture as you squeeze those sitting muscles. So you shouldn't notice a whole lot happening here. You can't really see us doing this, but we're doing it. So I want you to do it too. These muscles are part of our legs. We're going to use them again later, so wake them up now. Let them know that something's going to happen later. Here's your last one. Let's move into the ankles a little bit. So I want you to just tap out your toes, a little reach forward. You can make it real small. You can make it a little larger. Remember, it's all about you, so make it work for you. Now change your toe tap into a heel tap. Also noticing we've got Gina sitting down throughout the entire class, just like you can do at home. So if you're in a wheelchair, or maybe you've got something going on where your legs can't support you long enough to stand for the whole class, you can alternate. You can do something sitting, do something standing. It's all good. Let's change this into a little march. I want you to march out these legs. Safety precaution, if you have a hip replacement and you're sitting down, I need you to keep those thighs glued to your chair. You can still lift the feet without lifting the thighs up too high. Sometimes with this exercise, we start walking forward and then we turn around and don't even realize how far we've moved. That happens in class a lot. So let's add on here. I want you to take this into a little leg extension or a little kick. So we're just lifting up and kicking from the knee, warming up the knee joint. A little balance here for you too. So as you do some of these warm-up exercises and you think, oh gee, I'm not quite sure about that, you can have your chair handy, you can be standing next to a wall or a counter, something to keep you supported. Let's do one more on each side. Now go back to your march. We're going to take it to the biggie, gang. Out, out, in. We've got to do it. Got to challenge those brains, right? So let's start slow. We'll start with just the legs. I want you to take one leg out, the other leg out, first leg in, second leg in. It's out, out, in. Out, out, in. Think about the hips as you're opening the hips out and taking them back in. Now this, you may think, what's she talking about? This is easy. It's just my legs, right? Now add an arm. Arms follow right along with the legs. Out, out, in. Out, out, in. I'm glad you're having fun with it. It's important to have fun when you're exercising. Here's your last one. And let's bring it right back down to our good standing posture. So you should feel a little bit warmer than you did when you turned this channel on. Let's have a seat. We're going to go right into our two-armed row and get right in with our posture. So if you already have an exertube, I'd like for you to place it underneath both feet. If you've got some light hand weights, just have those in your hands loosely. And if you don't have any external resistance, you can follow right along anyway. So with our exertubes, we're going to trade hands. So we've got a big X in front of our shins. Then we're going to get right into this tall spine. So whether we're sitting or we're standing, we've always got this string pulling us tall, right through the top of our heads. Now find that tennis ball between your shoulder blades and gently, gently squeeze it. We're going to squeeze it more in just a moment. So let's start with a big breath in. Now as you exhale, I want you to squeeze those shoulder blades really tight so they pull your arms back. And then inhale and relax. Exhale, squeeze tight. Inhale to release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. We're going to stay with about 12 repetitions again today. You can take a break anytime you need to. If you can do 6 and you need to stop, then do 6 and stop. Maybe you get back in when we're on number 10 and you can do 2 more. Remember, it's all about what you can do. No more, no less. Just do your best. Here's your exhale as you squeeze. Inhale to release. Exhale and squeeze. Inhale and release. Here's your last 2. And the last one. Beautiful job. Let's release. We're going to put our equipment to the side and we're going to move right into our sit to stand exercise. using the muscles that we're sitting on. We woke them up in our warm-up, so they should be ready to work. Hands on your thighs offer you some support. So you can keep them there, you can push with them a little bit, or just have them on your thighs. But whatever you do, I want you squeezing these muscles that you're sitting on. Let's start with an inhale. As you exhale, we're gonna rock forward gently, press into these feet, work our way to standing. Inhale and release back down. Exhale, push to lift. Inhale to release. Here's your knee check. Make sure your knees are not getting too much of the force. So if you feel a whole lot of pressure and strain on your knees, you're not squeezing the ones you're sitting on, the muscles you're sitting on. Squeeze to lift. Release to sit. You don't want to squeeze as you sit. You want to squeeze as you lift. So imagine those sitting muscles are some big, strong hands pushing you up. Can you feel that? It's good to use your imagination, so find those hands. You may be able to come up part of the way. You may eventually work your way all the way up. I've seen it happen so many times, and you know what? It doesn't matter your age. I've got a really nice friend in one of my classes. She's 92. Here's your last one. Let's do one more. She's 92, and when she came to me 2 years ago, she could not do one sit to stand. Let's go ahead and take a break. I'll tell you more of the story. I want you to go right into an upper back stretch. So bring both arms out to the front. Let's go ahead and pull these shoulder blades apart and gently bring your chin to your chest. Now, when she came to my class, I actually tested her, and she could barely do one sit to stand in 30 seconds. Now she's been with my class for about 2 years, and she can do 15 at the same pace as everybody else in that class, and she's 92. So don't ever say, I'm too old, I can't, I'm 92. It's not true. Let's go ahead and lift our chin, shrug those shoulder blades back behind you, bring your arms to your sides. Let's give a stretch to our leg muscles. Come towards the end of your chair. Extend your right heel to the floor with a long leg. Knee is straight. Let's sit tall. Remember your safety precaution here. If you have a hip replacement, I need you to stay upright so you don't dislocate your hip. You stay upright. If you already feel a stretch, you stay right here and breathe. If you don't feel anything yet, it's a tiny little hinge at the hip. Now look, we're moving really slowly. We're moving slowly so our muscles can register what we're doing. That way, if we go too far, we'll know in plenty of time to back off. Our spine is still lifted right through the top of our head. Let's take a big breath in. Exhale and relax those leg muscles. Now let's gently hinge at the hip and come right back up to sitting tall. Let's bring our right foot in, left heel out, long leg. Now if you're not able to get your knees straight, you may be sitting too far back on your chair. You do need to come towards the end of your chair to get that knee extended, but hold on tight and don't go somewhere where you don't feel safe. Again, remember your safety precaution. Staying upright, nice and tall. Feel the stretch. Do you feel a stretch yet? Do you feel a tightness up the back of the leg? If so, stay where you are. If you don't have a hip replacement and you want to come forward, it's a hinge at the hip, like you're bowing forward. Bringing the chest towards the leg. Big breath in. Lengthen that spine right through the top of your head. Exhale, relax the muscles through the back of your leg. And now hinging at the hip, let's come right back up, sitting tall. Let's move into the upper body. We'll go into our bicep curl. So we're going to get our equipment again, sitting or standing. If you're standing, we're going to come right back onto this extra tube if that's what you're using, placing it underneath both feet. If you're sitting, stay right in your chair, hanging your arms loosely at your sides. Let's go through our posture again. Here's my checklist. I always start at the feet, put them hip to shoulder width apart. Next place on the checklist is soft knees for standing. Go right through the spine, lift it tall, shoulders back and down. Ears are at the end of my checklist. We've got a loose underhanded grip. Let's inhale. Exhale, bending the elbows. Inhaling to extend. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Nice and smooth. Now another thing I want to point out is remember to only go to resistance. So in other words, I'm going to turn sideways. If you're able to go this far and that's as far as you're able to pull, then that's as far as you should go. On the other hand, if you're able to come up higher without changing your posture or your form, then do that. My primary goal here is to keep you safe and to keep your posture strong. So posture and safety first. Always remember that. It's not as good if you're pulling on some weight and you're changing your posture, you're contorting yourself, you're putting yourself in pain. That's not going to work for you. Let's go ahead and do one more. Let's extend these arms back down. Let's go right to the backs of the arms. So rotate your grip. This is our tricep extension, gets the upper back of the arm. Let's inhale again. Exhale, reach backwards. Inhale, come right back to where you started. Exhaling, go backwards. Inhaling to where you started. Exhale. Inhale. Notice if your knees want to lock here. As you're pulling yourself backwards, those knees really want to lock and keep you from falling over. So do your best to keep them soft and stay in a range where you don't feel like you're going to fall backwards. So by keeping our knees soft, what we're doing is we're keeping our weight load, our body weight, off of our joints, and we're keeping our body weight on our muscles where it belongs. We don't want to stress out the joints. Here's your last 3. Another exhale, inhale, nice and strong, making it smaller if you need to. Here's your last one, and release. 2 more stretches. Let's put our extra tubes, our equipment to the side. You're doing great. You can stay standing or have a seat to stretch. Whatever you do, bring your palms towards the floor. Gently reach those arms backwards, just enough to feel an inner arm stretch, a little pull, but no sharp burning sensation. There's a real fine line between discomfort and pain. So if you ever feel like a sharp burning sensation, a sudden pull, then you know you're going too far. So that's why we move slowly. So if you start to feel some burning in the muscle, then you can ease up on the stretch. Let's go ahead and release. Into the tricep stretch. Bring your right hand to your right shoulder. We're stretching this area here. Left hand to right tricep. Elbow is pointing straight ahead and we're gently guiding it upward. Again, if this is as far as you can go, go there, hold it and breathe. If you can go a little farther, go there, hold it and breathe. Find where you are able to maintain your stretch. Big breath. Exhale, relax those muscles, relax your shoulder. Another inhale, and let's release back down. Same thing, other side, left hand to left shoulder. Point that elbow straight ahead and give it a boost. Find where you can just maintain and hold on. Breathe with us. Notice on the exhale how your muscles will just kind of melt into the stretch and maybe allow you to go a little bit further without force. On your next exhale, let's go ahead and lower this arm back down. Give the shoulders a little shake. We're going to go right into our leg exercises with our knee lift. So for standing, we're going to stand sideways along our chair. For sitting, stay right where you are. So we'll just turn our chair sideways. We're going to put all of our body weight closest to whatever we're using as support, whether it be a dining room chair, a countertop, maybe you've got your hand on a wall, wherever you feel confident you're not going to fall. We've got a soft support knee. Remember, we want our body weight on our muscles, not our joint. What do we do next? Let's lengthen that spine. Shrug those shoulders back. Let's take a big breath in. On the exhale, we're bending this knee, lifting the heel, lifting the toes if you can get that far. Lower back down. Exhale to bend and lift, inhale to lower. So we've got our modifications going. Susan's going much smaller, keeping her toes planted on the floor. Gina's staying seated, keeping her knee below hip level. If you've got your hip replacement, again, keep the knee below hip level. Always know that your knee stays below hip level unless your doctor tells you otherwise. My support knee is still soft. Is yours? You've got 2 more here. There it is, last one. Plant that foot on the floor. Balance your body weight evenly between both legs. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so maybe you need to turn your back towards us so you can face the other side of your wall if that's what you're using. You've got your strong support leg over here with a soft knee. Are you nice and tall? Let's take a big breath in. On your exhale, again, bending the knee, lifting the heel. If the toes will follow, bring them up too. Lower right back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Nice and smooth. Make this motion as small or as large as you need it to be for your individual self. But always keep that knee below hip level. There's really not a need to go above hip level here. It changes the exercise completely. And we're focusing on the front of the hip and thigh. We want to stay away from the shuffle walk. We want to be able to walk over a curb, over a pet in the middle of the floor. Here's your last one. And now planting that foot, let's give the legs a shake. We're going to work right into our calves and our shins next. So we are going to turn into our chairs. At home, you can turn and face your wall or another chair if you've got one handy. Let's again soften these knees, and Gina will stay right where she is in her chair. We're tall, always lengthening our spine. Let's take an inhale, gang. On the exhale, we're rolling up onto the toes. Now inhale, come back, and I want you to lift your toes. Exhale, come up, lift the heels. Come back down, lift the toes. I have a thing for multitasking. I like to do several things at once, which is why I have you think about so many different things as you're doing these exercises. We're thinking about breathing, we're thinking about posture, we're thinking about good form, not to mention the actual exercise that we're doing. We're getting more for our time. Now, if that's too much for you to think about, and sometimes it is, sometimes it's a little overwhelming, and I hear that a lot too, get what you can. If you can just work on the breathing, just work on the breathing. If you can sneak the posture in there, get that too. If you can really maximize this exercise, then do that too. So you gradually build on. Let's do one more together. And then right back down, lifting the toes. Let's plant the feet on the floor. We're going to turn back towards the center. We're going to work on our inner and outer thigh. So we've got our strong support leg with a bent knee. We're standing tall using our support, a chair or a wall. Let's take a breath in. Now on the exhale, we're going to lift this heel, bending the knee. We're going to rotate out to the side, rotating the hip, and then come right back. Just like we did at the beginning when we did out, out, in, especially when you're doing it sitting. It's the same basic idea, but we're going much slower, staying on one leg. So look at my toes here. My toes face straight ahead. My toes are facing out sideways now, getting a full rotation in this hip joint. Again, noting the different ways of doing this here. We've got smaller movement. So Susan's keeping her heel on the floor, still turning her toes out to the side and turning her toes back to center. Lynn's going a little bit larger with her motion. You can take it anywhere in between. I think I've got it a little bit in between. Here's your last one. Fantastic job. Let's plant this foot. Let's shake out the legs. Let's turn our chairs back to center. Let's have a seat. Let's finish up with a few stretches. We've done all the tough stuff again. We've got a few minutes left together. So let's come towards the end of our chair. We're going to go right into our hip flexor stretch. So let's gently turn all the way around to the right, holding on to the back of your chair, pointing the knee towards the floor. Remember, you bring that knee towards you if this stretch is too much, and this is a big stretch, so modify it as much as you need to. Let's tuck the tailbone and sit tall. Let's get a big breath. And exhale. Let's gently bring our left foot to the floor, come all the way around to center and all the way around to the left side, still staying towards the end of the chair, holding on to the chair, tucking the tailbone, and adjusting the knee positioning as needed. So this, you'll notice, if we had arms on the chair, this would be very difficult to do a lot of these exercises. So hopefully you've got one that doesn't have arms, it's got a back on it that's sturdy. Let's exhale. Now bring our right foot to the floor. Let's come all the way around back to center. Sitting tall in our chair, let's dangle our arms at our sides. Let's go ahead and look over our shoulder to the right, right back into our neck stretch. Stay here for a big breath. Nice deep inhale. And exhale, come back to center. Now looking to the left, another inhale. exhaling back to center. Now right ear to right shoulder. Find pain-free range. This doesn't have to be a huge stretch, but let your shoulders be heavy. Let's come back up. And now left ear to left shoulder, heavy shoulders, big breath in. And then exhale and come back up. This time wrapping your arms around behind you. You can hold onto your chair if you're sitting in a chair at home, or lace your fingers together behind you. Right into our postural stretch. Think about your beautiful open posture, opening the spine. Let's inhale together. Exhale completely. Let's inhale one more time, really opening up these chest muscles, shoulder muscles. And exhale to release. Bringing your arms down to your sides. This time bring your right hand to your left shoulder, left hand to right tricep. We're into our shoulder stretch. So you can leave your arm right here, just hold on, or gently guide the arm over your shoulder. Depends on your flexibility, depends on the history of your shoulders. Let's go ahead and relax back down. This time bringing left hand to right shoulder, right hand to left tricep. Take an inhale. Exhale, gently staying in the stretch, going a little deeper or holding steady. And then releasing back down. Let's come towards the end of our chair. I'd like for you to hold on to your chair and extend both legs. So we're back in our hamstring stretch. Now I'm going to add on, so you can stay right here. Now you can add a flex of both feet. So show me the bottoms of your shoes. Feel that stretch in your calves. Now let's do the opposite. Let's get our shins. So point your feet towards the floor, pain-free range. Inhaling. Exhaling. Let's release the legs, walk them back in. Here's a favorite stretch. A lot of people like this. Bring your palms together. This is great for the hands, the forearms. So give them a nice stretch. Now I'm going to add on again. So this time I want you to look up as far as you can without moving your head. Don't move your chin. Just look up to the sky. Stretch the muscles in your eyes while you're here. Let's take an inhale. And then exhaling. Blink out the eyes. Let's look straight ahead. Let's go ahead and just roll out the wrists. You should feel relaxed. You should feel like you've worked hard. Let's change directions. You should be pain-free. And let's go ahead and bring these arms down to our sides. You've done a wonderful job. I'm so glad that you made the conscious choice to tune in and get stronger, get healthy with Shana and friends. So we'll see you next time. You come back again, okay? Call me at 743-5300 for more information.